Good morning and welcome to the video for Monday, June the 8th. This is going to be a video for upcoming 5th graders. In our second chapter, we're going to be working with different ideas related to division. Let's go ahead and take a look at what a few of those are. One of the first lessons that we'll have will be working with where to place the first digit. So in this number, I would need to count by 9 to get to 27. So my first digit is actually going to go here, not right here. And that is a common mistake that we might end up having, where you want to put the first digit here because that's the first number available. We're actually going to do 27 divided by 9 equals 3. We do our multiplication, we subtract, and we bring down our next digit. I cannot count by 9s to get to 5. So I'm going to put a 0 here, subtract 0 because I'm doing 0 times 9 equals 0. That's going to leave me with 5. I bring down my 4. And now I'm doing 54 divided by 9, which would be 6. And so my answer for that problem would be 306. One of the things I'm going to recommend is, if you are still not fluent at this point with your multiplication facts, spend as much time as you can. I would say at least 10 to 20 minutes a day. Again, this is not something that like hours and hours of work is going to benefit you on. Pick a different number or two numbers each day. Work on getting up from times 1 up to times 12, up to 12 times 12. That will be the basis of what we're working with for most of these problems. If you are comfortable with those facts, then this kind of stuff I will give you some suggestions for how to practice that. One of the other ideas we're going to work with is this idea of using repeated subtraction. And so this ended up being a little bit confusing. This is not something that I normally do, but it is something that you can do if you need to. So for instance, we have a number here that is large enough that I can take away several groups of 10 times 32. And so we have a lesson or two devoted to doing this. If I do 10 times 32, that gives me 320. And then when I subtract the 320, I'm left with 1130. I can do that a second time. And just pretend that I keep writing these down. And then the last time I get 160, which would be the same thing as 5 times 32. And I'm going to have a remainder of 10. So my answer is going to be 10, 20, 30, 40, 45 with a remainder of 10. And if we're going to have a remainder in this particular problem, we are going to want to round that up to the next nearest whole number, because if I'm ordering packages of mozzarella cheese to make pizza and I need 10 30-seconds of a package, then I'm going to have to order that 46th package to be able to make all of the pizzas. Which takes us to the last idea I want to talk about really quick. This idea of interpreting a remainder. We are this year going to interpret the remainder as being a fractional part over our divisor. So I'm going to work through this problem. We will have a remainder for it, and I will show you what that looks like. So I can do 2 times 9 to get to 18. That's going to leave me with 5. I bring down my 2. If I did 6 times 9, I would get 54. I cannot do that. I can only do 5 times 9 to get to 45. That's going to leave me with a remainder of 7. And so we would write it this way in our long division problem. What we are saying, though, is that our answer is going to be 25 and 7 remaining parts out of 9. And so we could re-represent that as being a fraction. In 6th grade, we will do the same thing, but then we'll also continue until we don't have a remainder. So we would keep working the problem in 6th grade until we get an actual decimal value that represents 7 out of 9. So those are the 3 ideas I want to go over with you for today. There are some other things that we need to look at as well, but I will do an extra video for that on Thursday. That way it's not too many things all at once. One of the things, again, that I'm going to reiterate, if you are not comfortable with your multiplication facts, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. I know there are quite a few people in this particular upcoming class for Risen Christ students that are doing much better with their multiplication facts, but they don't have all of them. If you are one of those students, go ahead and practice. We really need to work on 6s, 7, 8, 9, 11, and 12. Choose a number and spend 10 minutes working on being able to skip count by that number, use repeated addition, whatever, and then try to have someone quiz you. What is 7 times 7? And if you have to take the time to count up, that's okay. But if you can't do it quickly and get to the answer within a couple seconds, you probably still need to keep working on those math facts. That's kind of relating back to what I talked about in 3rd grade. So that would be the biggest thing. Working with multiplication and division uses the same facts. If you are not comfortable with the multiplication facts, it will slow you down as we are working on these more difficult division problems, okay? So that would be what I would recommend. If you are already good with your multiplication facts, what I would suggest that you do is go ahead and take a single digit divisor and a 3 to 4 digit number of your choice and see what the division problem answer would be. So 734 divided by 5, and then figure out what you get as the answer, just so that you're practicing working with that. And then if you get a remainder, go ahead and practice the idea of writing that remainder in a standard way that we would do with a long division problem, but also understand that is also going to be a fraction over the divisor. So hope this helps for you. I know the explanation part's a little bit longer than it may need to be, but again, I want to make sure everybody's clear on what's going on here. So if you have any questions, Risen Christ students, the Google Classroom is still open and available. If you want to make comments, please feel free to reach out to me or have your parents send me an email. And then if you are not one of my students, please reach out to your classroom teacher, maybe from this previous year, and find out who you're going to have for the coming year, and maybe get in touch with them and ask about different things, or keep the questions in mind for when the school year starts, because you will get to this relatively quickly. Hope you have a wonderful day. I will have a new video for you on Thursday.